Jai Hind, my dear children. Today we are going to start a new online session related to your politics chapter 1, the Indian Constitution. Before going directly to the chapter, first we want to know what is constitution. Then only we will understand what is the importance of a constitution and at the same time in detail about our Indian constitution. So, first of all, what is a constitution or define the term constitution? Constitution refers to the basic principles and laws of a nation or state that determines the powers and duties of the government. That means when a country becomes independent, then immediately that country writes want to frame a constitution, which is a written document consists of rules and laws for the government to govern the country in the proper way, and at the same time it includes the fundamental rights and duties of a citizen in that particular country. So it's very important for a democratic country to have a constitution. So once again, constitution refers to the basic principles and laws of a nation or state that determine the powers and duties of the government. So now we want to know in detail about our Indian constitution. What is the importance of a constitution and how India is safeguarding our constitution for this much years. So, the Constitution of India is the supreme law of India. It is based on federal parliamentary constitutional republican system. That means our constitution, they are giving a lot of importance to federal system, dividing our government into three levels, that is central government, state government and local government. Our constitution is the longest written constitution in the world. So if we are taking the democratic countries in the world and among the sovereign countries also, we can understand in detail that our country's constitution is the longest written constitution in the world. It was written and completed on 26 November 1949 and was made the center of law in 26 January 1950. That means the great leaders, the Constituent Assembly members, they completed writing this constitution on 26 November 1949 and was made the center of law in 26 January 1950. So, what is the importance of our Indian constitution? It lays down the framework demarcating fundamental political code, structure, procedures, powers and duties of government institutions and set out fundamental rights, directive principles and duties of citizens. That means it includes everything which our country needs to be free, united and independent for a long time, and also to help and support each and every citizen of our country. It lays down all the legal and cultural aspects under which its people and the governmental bodies will be governed. So, for a democratic country like India, it's very important to have such a great constitution. So, once again, our Indian constitution lays down the framework demarcating fundamental political code, structures, procedures, powers, duties of the government institutions and set out fundamental rights and directive principles, duties of the citizens. Dr. BR Ambedkar is recognized as the father of the Constitution of India. He is a great personality who helped us, that means the Indians, to have such a great constitution. And our constitution is passing the great 70 years, which help India to be united and to be independent with the help of this greater constitution. The main topics related to this chapter, there are two main topics in this chapter. The first main topic is why does a country need a constitution? And the second main topic is the Indian constitution, its key features. What are the main features of our Indian constitution? So once again, why does a country need a constitution, and the Indian constitution key features we want to study in this chapter. So first of all, we are going to study why does a country need a constitution. In this area here, we want to study first what is a constituent assembly, or what is the importance of the constituent assembly in a democratic country. A constituent assembly or a constitutional assembly is a body or assembly of popular elected representatives which is assembled for the purpose of drafting or adopting a constitution. That means a constituent assembly is important because it consists of a group of elected representatives of our country who draft and adopt various laws for our country. With the help of that laws only, we can rule our country in the proper way, and we can safeguard the unity and diversity of our country. So, for having a good detailed constitution and a very important constitution, the importance of this constituent assembly members are very important. Here I am attaching some pictures of the constituent assembly members. Go through the pictures. And the International Congress, for the first time, they made the need and importance of constituent assembly in 1935. That means it is the International Congress that demanded the need and importance of a constituent assembly in 1935. And it established under the Cabinet Mission Plan of 1946. So the Cabinet Mission Plan of 1946, which decided to form a constituent assembly, and it consisted of mainly 299 members. So the Constituent Assembly is very important for framing the Constitution of India, and it consists of the great national leaders of our country. And it was the International Congress that demanded it in 1935, and the Cabinet Mission Plan of 1946, they decided to have it. And Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly. So who was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly? Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the chairman of the Constituent Assembly. Dr. BR Ambedkar, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was also one of the great personality who included in this Constituent Assembly members. Here I am attaching the picture of Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Dr. BR Ambedkar was the chairman of drafting committee. So Dr. Rajendra Prasad was the chairman of Constituent Assembly, and Dr. BR Ambedkar was the chairman of drafting committee. So here we are studying another new term, which is that drafting committee. So then we want to know what is a drafting committee. A drafting committee is a committee consisted of a group of members from the Constituent Assembly, and it was chaired by Dr. BR Ambedkar. And this group, they presented a detailed draft constitution which was published for a public discussion. That means from the Constituent Assembly members, a group of most efficient, they form a committee and they draft the full detailed written constitution, and they published it for the public discussions. This committee is known as drafting committee, and Dr. BR Ambedkar was the chairman of this drafting committee. The Constitution of India serves several purposes to lay down its ideas. Here, in this chapter, we want to study the three main purposes of our Indian Constitution. The first main purpose of our Indian Constitution consists of three main ideas. The first one is the Constitution lays out certain ideals that form the basis of the kind of the country that we as citizens aspire to live in. The second one is it tells us about the fundamental nature of the society. And the third is the Constitution is a set of rules and principles that all persons in a country agree. So, the main idea behind the first purpose is that the first purpose consists of rules and laws, which is equal to all the citizens in our country. And the society also treated them in such a way that we aspire to live in such a society. And it also explains the fundamental nature of our society. And it includes rules and principles that all persons in a society agree to live in. So once again, the three main ideas behind the first purpose. It lays out certain ideals which form the basis of the kind of the country that we citizens always aspire to live. Second one, it tells us about the fundamental nature of our society. Third one, it is a set of rules and principles that all persons in a country agree to live. As a part of first purpose of our Constitution, we are having two examples in your textbook. One about football and another about our neighboring country, Nepal. In these two examples, we want to make us understand that we want to follow rules and laws in our country. Otherwise, if we violate it, it creates a lot of problem to us and also to our country. So first of all, about Nepal. Nepal borders India on the north. It is having a monarchy rule. In 1990, even though a constitution is there in Nepal, but the power rests with the king. People's movement fought for many years for freedom, and in 2006, they succeed it. After achieving independence, People's movement immediately want to amend the constitution and to rewrite it because the previous constitution does not reflect the ideals of the country that the people want. Next is another example regarding the game football. The game football consists of some rules and laws to follow. That means it needs this much of players and each player want to follow some rules. For example, they are not having the right to touch the ball with their hands. Then if they are doing it, it is considered as violating the rules of the game. So these two examples made it clear that how important the rules and laws for the country and how we as citizens want to safeguard it. This is the first main purpose of our constitution. So next we want to study the second main purpose of our Indian constitution. The second purpose includes many ideas. It's very important for us as a citizen. So the first idea, it is to define the nature of a country's political system. That means our constitution helps us to know what type of political system that we are having in our country. Second, it lays down rules that guards against the misuse of power by our political leaders. Because we don't know whether our political leaders are governing us in the proper way or not. But With the help of these constitutional rules and laws, we can overcome their problems and their corruptions, and we can correct it also. Third one, in our Indian Constitution, many of these laws are contained in the section of fundamental rights. That means what are the important laws as a citizen we are having in our country and how we can safeguard our rights. All these are explained in the fundamental rights that is included in our Indian Constitution. The fourth main idea, the Indian Constitution guarantee the right to equality to all persons and says that no citizen can be discriminated against on ground of religion, race, caste, gender and place of birth, because in the early years the Indians face a lot of discrimination on the basis of caste. So that discrimination, that untouchability, we are avoiding or we are stopping in our country, abolishing in our country as a result of, with the help of these constitutional rules and laws. The fifth one is the right to equality is one of the fundamental right guaranteed by the Indian Constitution. That means all citizens in India are equal before the law, and the law, they are safeguarding the citizens of India in the same way. That is right to equality. This right to equality we can understand very well with the help of our election process, our voting system. And the sixth one, an important function of the Constitution in democracy is to ensure that a dominant group does not use its power against other less powerful people or groups, because the majority groups, they are always discriminating the minority groups as in our country, because in early years the upper caste, they are discriminating the lower caste people and they are facing a lot of problems as a result of this. So the Constitution helps to overcome all these problems that faced by the citizen in our country. Next is the third purpose, which help our Constitution to serve the citizens in the proper way. So the third significant purpose of the Constitution is to save us from ourselves. By reading this or by hearing this, it feels some strange, isn't it? But it's having a lot of importance related to us as a citizen. Why this seems strange? Why it seems strange? Because what is meant by this is that what we might at times feel particularly strongly about an issue that might go against our large interest. So, by reading this, I know that you can't understand anything. So, sometimes when we take a decision because of some problems related to that time, but it affects not only us but our entire society. That means because of some problems in a particular time, because of some stress or anything, we take a particular decision. For example, if our political scenario is not working in the proper way, we think that a monarchy rule or an autocratic rule is better than a democratic rule. But we ignore that after a long dictator or monarchy rule, after suffering a lot, we succeed our freedom and democracy. So at this situation, a constitution helps us or safeguard us to take the positive decision. This is a third main purpose of our constitution. That means the constitution saves us from ourselves. If we are taking any decision which create problem to us and to our society, to our country, the constitution helps us, safeguard us to take a positive decision. Now let's have a quick recall about what we studied in this area. So, first of all, we studied about the term constitution. What's a constitution? It refers to the basic principles and laws of a nation or state that determine the powers and duties of the government. A country, if it is having a constitution, then only they can rule the country in the proper way. We can call it as a democratic country also. So next we studied about the importance of Indian Constitution. We know that our Indian Constitution came into being on 26 January 1950. It passed its 70 years and it is the longest written constitution in the world, and it consists of 448 articles and 12 schedules, and it lays down various frameworks demarcating fundamental political code structure, procedures, powers and duties of the government, and the fundamental rights, directive principles and duties of citizens. That much importance we are giving to our Indian constitution. Next, Constituent Assembly is an assembly or a body of popular elected representatives which is assembled for the purpose of drafting or adopting a constitution for our country. That means the drafting of the constitution was done by an assembly of elected representatives, and we call it as Constituent Assembly. And Dr. BR Ambedkar, he was always recognized as the father of our Indian constitution. And the chairman of the Constituent Assembly was Dr. Rajendra Prasad. And Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was considered as the chairman of drafting committee. So next, what is a drafting committee? What is a drafting committee? It is a committee consists of a group of members from the Constituent Assembly, and their main duty is to present a detailed draft constitution which was published for a public discussion. That means whatever the Constituent Assembly members are drafting, are preparing, that they are publishing for the public to decide whether it is having any drawbacks like that. So it was all done by the drafting committee. Then we studied about the several purposes of our Indian Constitution. The Indian Constitution consists of three main purposes. So first, we want to study about the first purpose of our Indian Constitution. We already studied it consists of many ideas. So the main purpose of the Indian Constitution, or the first main purpose of our Indian Constitution, is that consists of rules and laws which is equal to all citizens in our country, and the society also treated them in such a way that we aspire to live in such a society. And it also explains the fundamental nature of our society, and it includes rules and principles that all persons in a country agree to. The second purpose of our Indian Constitution, it includes the nature of a country's political system, and it guards the misuse of our political leaders, and also it safeguards the fundamental rights of our citizens, especially the right to equality. That means discriminating anyone on the basis of their caste, race, religion, gender or place of birth. And it also gives importance to the right to equality, is one of the fundamental rights guaranteed by our Indian Constitution. The third purpose is that its constitution is to serve us from ourselves. That means if we are taking any decision, if it affect us or our generation or our society, then it is the constitution which help us to overcome all our problems and to safeguard us and our society, and to lead a good democratic country, and to have unity in our country. These are the three main purposes of our Indian Constitution. Dear children, along with this video, I am sending the questions related to this topic. Please go through the video very carefully and write the answers of all the questions and send to your teachers concerned as soon as possible. Okay, thank you.